The Unbreakable Boy is a truly inspiring story. I'm talking with Zachary Levi, Jacob Laval. Jacob, you are the star of the show, just like the boy in the movie. Tell us what this is all about.
I'd say The Unbreakable Boy is about loving and accepting other people around you. I think everything that the characters do in the movie revolves around that message. Austin, he does love and accept everyone, even a bully who's mean to him, and he accepts him, and he ends up becoming his friend in the end. And Scott, he has a lot of trouble accepting the fact that he has Austin as a kid. He wasn't planning on it, but he has Austin. He can't accept that originally, and then he learns Austin has autism and osteogenesis imperfecta, a brittle bone disease, and he has trouble accepting that at first. But eventually, as time goes on, he learns this isn't what I planned, but I still have to, have love and acceptance for him and the people around me and just go with the flow. And I think those are the messages, and I really hope the audience takes that away and brings it into their lives as well.
You're gonna love middle school, Logan. The hallways are so big, the teachers are the bomb, and all the food is a la carte.
Hey, Ozman, are you sure that that's the right hat for your first day?
Don't be a goober, Daddy-o. Jester is the best one. It's the Mountain Dew Code Red of hats.
Oh, is it? I didn't know. Why is that?
Because it makes me happy and I feel good when I wear it. The colors, the way it moves and jiggles, it's just cool. And the best part is the chicks dig it.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
See ya.
I love you.
Zachary, we obviously know you Shazam, Chuck, Tangled, but what I really loved you in was the Kurt Warner movie, American Underdog, and this is another faith-based movie in that kind of same realm. What about those projects draws you into those movies?
Honestly, I've been so blessed that these roles find me in most of the time. This film specifically was a film that found me, but I found it. I was offered, we were in the process of putting together American Underdog. We thought we were going to be shooting it toward the end of 2020, but because the pandemic was still in full effect, Lionsgate wasn't sure. I mean, that would be a big gamble because it was a much larger budget. And when we had pushed the film, I went to the Erwins, John and Andy at Kingdom Story, and I said, hey, listen, all of us have been out of work for a while. We were all really depending on going to work on American Underdog. How can we get everybody working? How can we not wait until we get into Underdog? And to their credit, they went to Lionsgate and they said, hey, we'd really like to be able to bless our crew and our cast, and how can we go forward? And Lionsgate said, here's, if there's a smaller budgeted film that we can do, that we can roll the dice on, and if Zach says yes to it, we'll go make that movie. And so the Erwins brought me 5 different options. I read all of them, and Unbreakable Boy just jumped out to me. I felt like God was saying, this is a movie that needs to be made. Like you said, it's, infused with faith, but also it's just a real story. It's not just a true story, but it's real. It brings you through the depths of the brokenness of the human condition, but only to teach the lessons of radical acceptance and loving oneself so that you can love those around you even more deeply. And I think, on top of that, I had yet to see, and I don't know that any movie has ever been made like this, that tackles, the concept of autism in such a beautiful and real way. And it's something that it touches all of our lives at this point. So I just felt like it was a story that needed to be told, and we got to tell that story. It's been 4 years, and so we're so grateful that it's finally, we're finally able to share it with the world.
So right, segued into my last question, Jacob. That's 4 years ago you guys filmed this. Obviously, we see you in the movie. You are way different now. You're growing up, and what is it like to finally get this movie out in theaters for audiences to see?
I am really excited. I waited so long, and so I'm just super happy for everyone to finally see it. I was a whole foot and 2 inches shorter, and I'm just super happy. It is embarrassing to look back on it and see my younger self a bit. However, I am really proud of the work I put into it, even 4 years later, and I hope that everyone else enjoys it too.
Don't be embarrassed. You were fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Everybody loves Patricia Heaton. I'm sure she's heard that before. 3-time Emmy winner for Everybody Loves Raymond, The Middle. She's now in this super great movie called The Unbreakable Boy. So tell us how you got involved in this movie.
Well, I had a lot of good friends that were working on the movie, so I was completely chuffed when they called me to ask me to come and participate. It was also shot in Oklahoma. I love Oklahoma. I've shot there before. So it was just a really, fun opportunity to be with people who I love and to work on a project that I think is really important. I think it's a great time for a movie like this to come out, about a family struggling with a kid with differences and also struggling with their own response to the stress of working with a child that has learning differences and personality differences. And so it's got humor, it's got heart, it's got hope. So it's just a wonderful and true story, which makes it even more impactful that people who are watching, families who are watching, can see themselves in this story.
In title cards, where we find out where this family is today, just gave me chills as I was watching that. Where does your character come into play on this?
Well, I love my character because, she's been through life and has the advantage of having the wisdom of many years of experience, just, dealing with the stuff that comes along in life. I think sometimes the younger generation right now has been taught or maybe protected from difficulties, right? We've sort of, us as parents have made that mistake a little bit. And really, she's there to say, this is hard, but you're going to get through it. We're going to stand by you, but you got to stand up and walk through this, and we'll walk through with you. So I love that she's that sort of tough love voice in the movie.
Some great advice, and tough love is going to be working with Zachary Levi, but no, seems like such a great actor. He's so great in this movie too. What was it like working with him?
Well, Zach is really fun. He's got a great playlist on his phone. So he's, it's always good to hear the music that the young people are listening to. I have 4 boys who also keep me abreast of, what's happening in the music world. So yes, Zach is really great fun to work with. The whole cast was really wonderful, and our director, everyone is great. So it's just fun to be able to reconnect with people and meet new friends too.
Gentlemen, this is such an important story. Scott, first of all, you're the reason this is on the big screen. What was it like getting that story told?
Where do I start? I just always, at one point, I guess, made the decision to share our story with everybody. Fortunately, I've got the children and the spouse that are okay with it, even though Austin, he tells me now that he should be getting the royalties. And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to be getting the royalties too. But he thinks he's the star and it's all, But seriously, it was just like my sobriety and everything else. It was just drip by drip. I didn't know that this was going to happen. I wanted to make a TV show out of my dysfunctional, chaotic, crazy family. I always thought that. I had no idea the path that we would take. Didn't know I was going to write a book at all. And it's pretty crazy because I've got another couple books in me. And sometimes I believe that the story of the story is a better story than my story. Because it's pretty crazy. And Peter can tell you a lot of those stories as well.
I've watched the movie. That is the perfect response from Austin. I love to hear that he wants all the royalties. And Peter, we obviously know you on screen from as Carlisle in Twilight, Nurse Jackie. Now you're playing a pastor, but he has some of his demons of his own. What about this character drew you in?
Well, for me, that role really signified so when someone's going through something, a lot of times they want to just shy away from support or help. They want to deal with it on their own. They're embarrassed, they're afraid, and they just think, they separate themselves and go into a place of being scared. And being able to turn to someone takes a lot of courage, whether that's a family friend, or a higher source of some sorts. So for me, that role really represented someone else to turn to with Zach, and also a pastor who's not perfect. There's somebody who is human and he's also broken and dealing with his own stuff and trying to heal himself. And that's a beautiful message in and of itself.
It really is. And Kevin, you are behind some of these great movies that audiences just love. We're talking about I Can Only Imagine, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, American Underdog, which also starred Zachary Levi. This is just going to be another one of those hits that people fall in love with. What inspires you to make these kind of movies?
Yeah, this film was shot during the early phases of the COVID pandemic. And so we just thought when Peter had brought us the book, I was like, wow, this is incredible. The films at Kingdom Story Company are all about a rush of hope and delivering that rush of hope. And this one just has hope dripping all over it. And we just thought, you know what, whenever this pandemic ends, people are going to need hope. And because it's going to end. We didn't think ever that it was going to end the world per se, but this movie was perfect for that time to be able to bring a film that inspires unity and humanity and inspiration and just coming together. Of course, now we have these LA fires that happened, and it's been inspiring to see the community come together. Too many people I know lost their homes, as well. Peter knows as well. But to see people take people in, that because they just have nowhere else to go, because homes don't get rebuilt overnight, you know what I mean? And so that takes a community to come together. Unbreakable Boy is about that. It's about this family inside this community that comes together and overcomes these insurmountable odds. But yet John Gunn just weaves this humor and this tapestry and this beautiful balance at the end. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, and you're going to feel good, and you're going to want to be present in the moment with the people that you love.
Yeah.
Love that so much. And one quick response, Doc. What was Austin's response to seeing the movie for the first time?
He's like, Dad, this isn't a story about you, it's about me. He has no filter, and he admits it too, though, that he cannot lie.
Yeah, no, that's
He cannot lie, and it's funny when he tries, though, because he has such a tell. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean, there's a great theme of authenticity in this film, and Austin oozes authenticity, and I hope people walk away with that too. That to be authentic, to be yourself,
People will be smiling from ear to ear when they leave the theater. Make sure you see The Unbreakable Boy February 21st. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.